Here I am in Concourse of Elegance, Villa Erba, with the McLaren F1. So guys, here we are with the most iconic vehicle in the car industry ever created, with the legendary McLaren F1. This is the 1995 model, and guys, I don't know even where to start, but let's start with some history of how this car even was ideated and where did the idea came from. The idea for the F1 was born in 1988 when the Milano-Monza Grand Prix was finished and four men were waiting their flight in Linate Airport in Milano. It resulted in the creation of this car by Ron Dennis, which was the head of the McLaren at that time, and Gordon Murray designing this absolute legend of the vehicle. Man, there is so much to talk about this car, but first let me start with the powertrain and the engine of this car, which is a BMW powered engine. It is a 6.1 liter naturally aspirated V12. But the fun fact is that the McLaren team when they were developing this car, they were trying to get Honda to build the engine for them, because when they were developing this car, the McLaren team was benchmarking some other brands in order to decide which kind of engine they want to put inside this supercar. And one of the developers tried the Honda NSX, and they realized that this engine is not very overpowered and it has a very good power balance, and they went to Honda to give them this proposal for them to create the engine for the McLaren F1. But Honda never accepted this proposal, and in the end the McLaren team decided to go to BMW, and BMW specifically made this engine for the McLaren F1. But the engine is actually based on the BMW 850 CSI, but most of the components and the parts are fully designed and only designed for this car. The McLaren F1 creates 620 horsepower, which was a huge deal back in 1995 or even the 1993, which was the first debut of the McLaren F1. And it resulted in this car to break the world top speed record of 384 kilometers per hour, and the record was for McLaren only for about 10 years. Nobody could break the record for the next 10 years, and this was the king of all the top speed records of that time. And still to this day, this car is it still has the record of having the naturally aspirated engine, which broke the 384 kilometers per hour. No other engine after the McLaren F1 was naturally aspirated that broke the top speed record. Now let's talk about the exterior design of this legend. As you can see here in the back, we have some 4 circular taillights, which, to be honest, they don't look very special today, but back then they were such iconic shapes to be used on the exterior of the cars, these circular taillights. And as you can see here in the back, the engine cover bay has 2 windshields on it, and that is for a reason, because on top of the hood there is this air scoop that helps the engine gets fed by the oxygen and the cold air, and it is placed in the middle of the body carbon fiber panels. And since it is placed in the middle, there are also 2 other windows inside the vehicle which help the driver to see through the other 2 rear view mirrors from these 2 small windows in the back. So this is such a crazy detail that we have on the back of the McLaren F1. And now we reach the side of the vehicle where there is actually a quick Easter egg to it. And you can see that this aluminium circular button here, well, for sure you can understand right now, it is to unlock the doors. But as you can see, there is a key lock spot on it. So actually you only use the key to unlock the door and not to open the door. When you unlock the door with the key, you have to press down the button in order to get the door out of its place and then open it up with the door handle. This is actually a little bit of twist. And then we see the side mirror windows on top of the door. You can see that there are like two pieces and only the smaller part rolls down. And the reason they decided to make the side window in two pieces is because of the strength and the structure of the window. They had to make it more stronger. So when you have these two pieces of window, it actually makes the whole structure of the window glass more strong and prevents it from breaking. Now there is also another twist to the design of this vehicle. As you know, this is one of the very first vehicles to use the fully carbon fiber body. And back in those days, the area of the exhaust were getting so hot and they didn't have an idea of what kind of material to use in order to prevent the heat to be transmitted to the carbon fiber panels. So what the McLaren team came up with was to use actual gold material underneath these carbon fiber plates on top of the exhaust system. So all the McLaren F1s, the road legal ones also, and the GTRs have gold plates underneath this panel, which they weigh 0.8 ounce of gold. This is so crazy. Now, for the design of the front, you can see this huge windshield wiper, which is actually placed half horizontally on top of the windshield, which is absolutely insane for that era. And I really like the headlights. They kind of remind me of its era's competitor, which is the Bugatti EB110, and it's kind of a better integration of this type of headlights for me. And you can see what kind of an insane beauty Gordon Murray has designed on this car. And you can see we have the hood air scoop on top, and there is a little air vent also here on the hood in the front, which is not actually a hood, it's a frunk. And also on the sides we have these two big air scoops on the door, which actually extract the turbulent air around the front wheels and move them on the side of the vehicle and keep them closer to the side of the body of the vehicle. Another fact that I have to mention about the McLaren F1 is that there are only 106 cars of F1, and there are only 64 road legal versions of it. The other ones are all racing versions like the GTR. So you can understand how rare this car is, and most of them cost you around $15 million or more. Alright guys, that was it for the McLaren F1, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.